Hello everybody and welcome back to Entity's Campfire. We're back with Dead of Winter. This is week 2 qualifiers here with our first matchup of Eventide versus Tamashi. We do have Eventide on Killer here, first with the Spirit on Suffocation Pit. We have Furious playing the Killer versus Tamashi Survivors. And you have to remember, Spirit is one of the highest tier killers in our balancing, so the survivors do have a lot of tools to work with when it comes to perks and items, as we're seeing a lot of strong perks and a med kit and other items on these survivors. So I am excited to see what these Tamashi survivors have in store for us. We do see our first chase coming in on, I believe that was Ace, I think, can't quite tell. No, that's Hinatu. It's Uncle Grandpa on the Hinatu here, running right through this pallet, and doesn't get hit just yet, but already used his sprint burst. So if he takes a tag here by an M1, he will not have an exhaustion perk to help him last longer. And all we have here is an LT wall. So this might be a potentially kind of quick down for Furious here, unless Uncle Grandpa wins a 50, but no, he does not win a 50. And I do think the safer play from Uncle Grandpa here may have been to just fully path to the edge map, but vaulting inwards on that LT wall kind of gives Furious the opportunity to hook almost wherever he wants with that agitation. And I believe the survivors tripled that generator here in the middle. So they did pop a central generator for this first down. It wasn't all for nothing. Tamashi did complete an important generator here by, I believe, the logs. And Furious probably has a good idea that that was at least a double. That was a very fast gen pop. He might even know that was a triple. And right now we're just tapping M2 to see if there's any survivors disappearing and reappearing with the phase. This is a common tactic we see in these Spirit sets. We do have Tori sitting here on main. We have Saga sitting on a gen pretty close to main, and our survivor playing for hook is Ace. And this is what I like to see from our survivors in terms of macro play. We have the for the people survivor playing for this on hook, because if Ace is able to get this for free and get that for the people, that will really help extend the time that this tunnel out takes for Furious to get. So interesting to see what's happening here. Furious is actually opting to not leave the hook and extend to pressure your generators. Now if Furious were to leave, he knows that they would get this on hook for free, so he has to stay nearby this hook for the remainder of this hook stage, or else all this proxying will be for nothing. So Furious will be giving up a lot of generator pressure for this trade, and Uncle Grandpa doesn't hit second stage here. They were not able to get the For the People off, but Ace comes in at a nice safe time and makes sure he can't get body blocked, and gets that 1-for-1. But because Furious didn't extend away from these from the hook and kick those generators with Eruption or anything, we're not really going to see a whole lot of perk value. As we see the second generator pop, an Eruption there maybe on that 1-for-1 could have been very good. But Furious now only has 2 gens left in the trial, and has to make something happen. This is going to be the second down coming in onto Uncle Grandpa, who does suspiciously die in a pallet here. There may be a survivor nearby lurking. It looks like Tori is running from her completed den to try and play for this, and Furious isn't aware just yet, but is very skeptical about picking up here. It is sketchy. Furious does know something is being planned by his Tamashi survivors. He just doesn't know where they're playing to do this from. And is Tori here? Oh, she does not make it in time. She came in just a second too late. Furious able to swing out of the pallet. Had Tori gotten that pallet save, Furious could have been able to I'm sorry, not Furious. Uncle Grandpa would have been able to death spot Furious, excuse me, pretty much all the way deep behind main building, behind all the completed gens. That would be absolutely devastating for the killer here. But Furious, swinging out of that pallet just in the nick of time, is able to get the second hook stage relatively close to gens. And I think that was a cheeky deception coming in. Oh my gosh, yes, Saga does have deception. Furious thought that she was trying to force locker there, but actually using deception and making Furious open the locker for nothing. And in the distance, we did see Ace use that for the people on Uncle Grandpa, and he does have full distance on main now. Furious used all of his entire phase, so now he cannot use his power to catch up. He has to just play M1 killer for a little bit, and it looks like right now Furious is actually opting to leave. He realizes that this might be taking too long. You have to come back here and defend your gens at some point. You do have Eruption, you can maybe make something happen, but here we have Saga again. Furious going to make sure he goes and lays down this Eruption, and Saga doing the correct play here, just running and getting as much distance as she can while Furious is stuck kicking that generator, and good double back by Saga there. I think, is that also, okay, that's not our fixated survivor. I thought it might have been, but no, good pathing by Saga, throwing Furious off a little bit there. And our tunnel out, Uncle Grandpa on the Hanatsu, just cranking a high progress generator, safe, all the way off in the distance, far away from the action. And our other survivors who have not been hooked a single time are going to be the ones pressuring these more central important gens. And Uncle Grandpa is actually the one here popping this, and he does get found, especially with fixated. I am a little surprised to see he doesn't pre-stealth off this generator a little bit sooner, maybe try to deny Furious that information. But you know, on the survivor side, the generators are always a priority. I don't really blame them for wanting to just pop that gen, but they at least have to make this chase count for something. Uncle Grandpa does need to waste a little bit of time, just a little bit, for these gens to pop. We have 2 survivors doubling a generator, and actually no, they're not even doing the double anymore. They all left. Did Furious drop this chase? Okay, I apologize for the bad time to switch spectator slots there. That was a little unfortunate, but Furious actually opting to leave the tunnel out once again. Maybe suspicious that it'll take too long. If you miss one singular phase on Spirit and the survivors make a good use out of their exhaustion perks and where they're taking the chase, it can be very, very punishing. So I don't blame Furious at all for this. You do need to find the right balance of trying to get the tunnel out done, but also you need to defend your generators at some point. And right now this does feel like an uphill battle on the killer side here for Furious. There isn't really a whole lot you can do. He knows that there's a lot of progress on this generator, that they are doubling. Their gen split, I don't think, is that bad. I mean, there is a little bit of a 3-gen here, but especially that generator towards the central area of the map, it's so easy to pre-run all the way to the corner of the map in your main building. So it's definitely a serviceable 3-gen, but I want to say in 4v1 here, this is hard, even for a killer like Spirit to hold. Again, I do want to remind everybody, Spirit is not the kind of S-tier killer like Blight is. She cannot go around the map like Blight can and instantly pressure survivors off faraway generators and deny good death spots. She does not have that kind of mobility. She has amazing chase, but the map pressure is where her power starts to lack a little bit. We are seeing the unhook come in onto Tori here, absolutely for free. There wasn't a 1-4 or anything, and she definitely makes this pallet with the 15 seconds of endurance. But I think Furious right now is just maybe playing to try and get interruption off, trying to down her after this borrowed time ends, and making something happen here. You can't really move after you vault into the husk, so Furious doing the good husk play there, laying it down on the other side of the pallet, so where if she vaults, she's definitely dead. And Tori goes down, but these survivors might pop this generator. I think they're going to commit here. Yeah, they were tripling this. And Tori had adrenaline. Oh, poor Furious. He did end up slugging the adrenaline survivor. So Tori is back up on her feet, and we are in chase on Saga here. I think Furious just wants to lock in a fresh hook state. Right now, we only have 3 hooks to account for, and this is not the result you want. You really, ideally now, want to hook a fresh hook survivor like Saga and use that agitation and take her as far away from these gates as physically possible. That is the best thing you can hope for. You can maybe at least get 6 stages from that if you can confirm the death. But Furious cannot let them get out with this amount of stages. This is not what you want to set your team up for. And will be able to not land this phase. I thought Saga was dead there. Furious getting a little mixed up with the audio, perhaps. I think this will be a 3-stage game. Very well played by Tamashi. I do think Furious lost control of this game a little while ago, but I do think he had a very good opportunity to at least get a middle-of-the-line result there with like 6 stages or so, but very well played by Saga at the end there, ending up juking out that phase, and Furious only walks out of that with 3 hook stages. So very, very good survivor result by Team Tamashi. And folks, we'll be right back. We're going to switch the lobbies up, and we'll have Tamashi on Killer with Eventide and Survivor. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello everybody, welcome back to Entity's Campfire. We're back with more Dead of Winter Week 2 qualifiers. We're here with the second trial of this matchup between Eventide and Tamashi. Last trial, our killer for Eventide was only able to get 3 hook stages on 2 unique survivors. So this killer for Tamashi has a very nice win condition, very comfortable win condition set with a very early M1 coming in onto Ace. We basically only need to see 4 hook stages or 3 hook stages on 3 unique survivors, and we already have 1 down. This is a very strong start for our killer on Tamashi here, and like I said, last trial, the Tamashi survivors played very well and punished a couple small mistakes on the killer side, and they were able to get an amazing survivor result, only giving up 3 hook stages, and Ace dropping down over here, trying to make our killer Russ here take longer to hook and maybe deny some unique hook placements. But this first hook will be coming in near the top side of the map, right next to the main building here, and the gen setup around here isn't amazing. We do have a serviceable 3 gen, but I do feel like the gens are more heavy on the bottom side of the map. But right now, our killer here is pretty convinced somebody is stealthing for pool in this area, and they would be right. Ada is stealthing for this pool from inside of main building, though. May not get found. This is kind of a risky stealthing spot from Chris, because if she just walks through main, you could get found there, but the risk pays off. Chris does not get found, and they actually are getting that unhook right now for absolute free, and that is going to be a for the people coming in. So now our Ace is healthy. There will be no threat of a tunnel out here, but if you're Russ here playing for Tamashi, it doesn't really matter here. I mean, honestly, you don't need to tunnel for this win condition. You just need to get 3 unique hook stages or 4 hook stages on anybody here. So you could see this for the people come in and just chase the survivor who's injured now, just like we're seeing. And now Chris, with only 1 health state, is going down. They are under a pallet, though. I don't think anybody's here for it. Yeah, they need to prioritize generators here. So nobody is here for this pallet save, but this is already looking pretty scary for our survivors of Eventide here. If Hanatu or Lori were to get hooked after this hook right now, that would be the win condition, if I'm not mistaken here. So we do see the fresh hook Hanatu there, but Russ not committing. They're actually opting to instead lay down a kick onto this generator, putting Call of Brine and Eruption, getting a lot of regression here. And I respect this playstyle a lot. You're seeing the win condition, and you're not even chasing it. You're playing for the best result possible. You're having a hook in between these generators. You're kicking these generators, and now we're going to be pursuing the survivor off hook. And we do see Ace coming in for a body block, but both of these survivors have been hooked once, so you're pretty much in the same position no matter who you chase here. They're both going to take about the same amount of time to tunnel out, and it looks like Russ is choosing to chase Ace here. I believe Ada had the second win there. We do see that common combination of for the people second win, so she's going to be healthy off of that hook. And Ace still injured chasing here near the main building, and now our phase is back up. So if Russ is able to get 1 good clean phase here like they do right now, then this would be very close to win condition. I believe this is tied. This is 3 hook stages on 2 different survivors, which would be the same amount of points that Furious got for Eventide last match. So this should be tie right here, and anybody is going to be win con here. So I always say I hate to call games before they're over, but we're at 4 generators remaining, and the tie con has already been achieved by our killer. I think Eventide right now is probably accepting the fact that they are going to walk away with the set, but I still hope to see them try to put up a fight here and make this at least a little bit of a closer matchup here. Even if we're getting 4K, you do want to probably a few gens, at least for the team morale. You know, getting the 4K2 to 4K3 would feel really bad. And I do believe Eventide here, even though this start was pretty good for their killer, to say the least, they are still in the game. They can still do something, even if they can't take this set. We do see the second generator pop, and if this tunnel out goes through, I do think they could get at least 1 more generator done. But regardless, enough about what they should do. I want to talk about what's happening right now. What's happening is Ace is our tunnel out, and he's being chased, and he doesn't really have a lot to work with here. We just have these 50-50 tiles, and he lost a 50. Unfortunately, he is dead. That is our tunnel out. Eventide is now down to the 3v1 on the survivor side here, and our win condition has been achieved. So Tamashi is going to be taking this first set on the Spirit, and we do see that Call of Brine notification go off on the Killer Shack. And right now, I do think the top side of the map near main building does have that loose 3-gen still. If I'm not mistaken, I see, yeah, okay, I do see the generator in main, and we have one on each side, pretty far, but still a serviceable 3-gen. We also have this mid-map gen that honestly connects them a little bit better, but Russ, I think, definitely in a spot to still be able to get a 4K1 or something, and these survivors, I do think if they play their macro correctly and die in the right spots here, could honestly pop all the generators. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see any outs, but anything is possible right now. The down is going to come in onto Furious here. He is going to be hooked near the main building here. Coincidentally, not much of a coincidence, but right in the middle of all the generators. This is intentional. Russ wants to hook in the central area of interest, which is around the main building here, and immediately finds Chris, our Ada player, and I do believe Chris has Lithe here. And yeah, they went ahead and used Lithe, and they're going to be booking it all the way to the shack side of the map, which is what you should be doing here. You want to take these chases as far away from the main building gen setup as you possibly can. If you are able to take all the chases to the opposite side of the map and deny hooks in the 3-gen, that is the one way these survivors can pop all the generators and do something here. But going to see a pre-drop from Furious here onto this pallet, and very good job winning that prediction. And he does have this tile here. Again, not really that safe against a killer with such a strong absolute power like the Spirit, especially when they do short, safe phases like that. There's not a whole lot you can do. And I didn't mention this before, I don't think, but this is a cross-ping matchup. This is an NA to EU matchup, with Eventide being our North American team and Tamashi being European. So these survivors are also in a awkward spot where they can't really greed pallets very easily or play very risky. Ping will make a difference here, and both these teams will be playing on ping. It's not to either one's advantage, but just another thing to keep in mind with when you were down to the last part of this game on Survivor in the 3v1. It's just so much harder to make something happen. You can't really go for those very aggressive plays. It feels almost impossible sometimes. You just will always get hit through these pallets. But Chris getting tagged here. No Sloppy Butcher like we saw last match from Furious, so that will not apply a healing debuff here. But Russ actually leaving, maybe suspicious that Hinatu is coming in for this unhook from somewhere, but little does Russ know, they're actually just sticking this generator here. We do have the sprint burst running off the generator, denying the tag, and Russ is going to kick this, and I believe we're going to see Furious get camped to death here. That is Call of Brine on the gen, so it will regress faster, and even if they stop the regression soon, if Russ is able to get a quick down, they can get Eruption on it, and we're playing the Spirit, so I assume we will be seeing a quick down here. And Chris, I think, just sending it in there, trying to get the 1-for-1 before Furious dies. You cannot enter the 2v1 right now, but that does not come without a price. That is going to be an Eruption, minus 10% on the generator. Hinatu is working. I couldn't tell if they let go of it or not. I think they did let go. I didn't see the aura reveal, so I do believe Russ is not did not see the aura of Hinatu there. But right now, just on the trail of Furious here, they know that if the Hinatu lets go of the generator to unhook, that generator won't be popping just yet. But a good firecracker drop by Furious, maybe throwing Russ off a little bit there, and we're just trying to mind game this tile a little bit. And Furious does get caught W-king away here, so this will excuse me, I've had a long day. This will spell the end for Furious here. This will be his third and final hook, and I believe our 8th hook stage of the trial. So already a very good result from our killer on Tamashi here, and we might just be closing in on a 4K1 if they're able to interrupt this generator that Hinatu is on. And they're actually doubling it. Ada and Hinatu are both doubling this generator, and I mentioned earlier, Spirit is not the kind of mobility killer like Blight is. She can't get around the map super fast, so I think whether or not this gen pops will be closer than I had thought. I didn't think they would have time to pop this, but with the resilience on the generator, they actually do. So they do get all the generators done. Like I said earlier, even though that start was not what Eventide wanted, it was still definitely possible to get all the generators done. And Eggy's here making her think that she's slow volted, but very, very good job by the survivors for this recovery. I think with it down that early, a 4K1 is kind of what I would expect here on this kind of map with the gen setup that we saw. But survivors of Eventide able to crank all the gens out there, and whoa, bad manners, hitting on hook. I'm joking. I know Russ wanted some Mori there, but Since Hanatu is only on first hook, we cannot do the finisher Mori just yet. So we're going to just have to carry Chris over to this hook. But well played by Russ in the end. This will be a 4K at 0 generators left. So Tamashi will be taking the Spirit set. And good job to the Eventide survivors. Again, bringing that back. That was not a very strong start for them on the survivor side here, but they kept the morale up. They stayed in the game. They popped all the generators. So even though they aren't taking this set, I hope they're able to walk out of this with at least some morale and confidence left before we go into our next set, which is actually the Hillbilly on Badham Preschool. So we'll be right back. We're going to set the lobby up for you guys, and we'll be back, I believe, again with Tamashi on Killer and Eventide on Survivor with the Hillbilly. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Entity's Campfire. Back again, week 2, Dead of Winter qualifiers. We are here with the first trial of the second set of Eventide versus Tamashi. And I don't think I mentioned it before, but the Spirit was Eventide's pick. So now, after Tamashi beat Eventide on their own pick, they are going into the Hillbilly, which is their own set that they chose. So Uncle Grandpa here on the Hillbilly for Tamashi, maybe getting an early down here onto Chris, who will be dying next to his car pallet very, very early down, and does sniff out the flashlight save from Tap here. If this is a double slug this early into the trial, this could be very, very big problems for Eventide. And right now, Tap here playing his pallet, but is a little bit zoned. Does end up getting away, though, because Uncle Grandpa wants to just take this hook, not get too greedy. We do have, again, more perks allowed on the Survivor side. We have Unbreakable. We also have Plot Twist, and I think Tenacity is allowed. I don't know if it doesn't look like our Survivors have it, but knowing that the existence of anti-slug perks, I think Uncle Grandpa not wanting to take too many risks here, just picking up. Honestly, good safe play. Very nice crouch here by V, and right now denying that down for a little bit. I do think she was maybe able to make this window at the House of Pain, but I'm not sure, maybe misjudged her distance there, but ends up going down instead. And this will be the second hook stage of the game. I didn't talk much about the build that Uncle Grandpa is using, but looks like a full Hex build. We know that we have Ruin in play, and we also have Crowd Control, and we got a stack of Devour already. And Devour Hope on Billy is very interesting. You never really see this because Hillbilly, of course, is an insta-down killer. So running an M1 insta-down perk like Devour might seem silly, but honestly, on this map, I wouldn't be surprised if I see it make things happen, because this is a little bit of an awkward map for Billy. I mean, you can curve around a lot of the card loops, but it is just such a strong map for Survivor in general with all of the God palettes. Sometimes you might not really be able to afford to go for a chainsaw down every time. So having Survivors exposed with Devour Hope could be a strategy here, and this will be the third hook coming in to the game. Third hook and the third fresh hook as well. And if Uncle Grandpa leaves, oh, I don't think they were expecting Chris to be that close. It could have been M1 there, but I realized too late it looks like. But if Furious gets unhooked when Uncle Grandpa gets far away enough, this could be the third stack of Devour. And we are seeing the 5% haste come in from that second stack of Devour. And I'm not getting the down here yet, but Uncle Grandpa does have pallet control. Chris doing a good job flaring wide, dodging that chainsaw for the time being. And we do hear, is that? Did we just lose 2 totems at once, or was that noise notification a generator? I can't tell if we lost. Did we lose 2 totems? Ruin is still up. I know Thrill. I think Thrill's still up too because we have 4 stacks, but I'm actually exactly sure. I know Ruin and Devour are still up. Let me see how many totems are still here so the ores of the generators go away. So we still, I think we just have Ruin and Devour. I believe they got Thrill of the Hunt and Crowd Control, if I'm not mistaken here. If we just have 2 totems left, it's just Ruin and Devour. I'm sorry, those popped at the exact same time. It was kind of hard to tell at first, but I do believe that was 2 totems are getting cleansed. And now we do have, well, it's still only 2 stacks of Devour. I think Uncle Grandpa was a little too close to that unhook. And the chase is coming in on to Tap here, and he is going to make this pallet drop. Now, I'm a little confused about what the strategy is now. I feel like Uncle Grandpa, even if Devour is still up, I still feel like it would be a good idea to go back to hook and just confirm this death. I do think that getting the third stack of Devour later is a worthy sacrifice here. If you can make sure Furious dies, you can get a very, very good kill result. But right now, I mean, Uncle Grandpa not really concerned about that. They're just chasing far away from the hook. Right now, getting it down, and surely he's going to go back now, right? No, we're picking this. What are our Survivors doing? We have Steve cracking a generator, and we also have V popping House of Pain. So this play is actually going unpunished. I do think Uncle Grandpa, in my humble opinion, overextended a little bit there, but our Survivors are just sitting on generators, and we didn't have anybody setting up for that unhook. Tap was delivered, so he unhooks himself, but are they just going to let Furious die here? This could be very, very big problems if Furious dies on his first hook, and it looks like that's exactly what just happened. Tap here, I believe with the Blood Rush Spurt Burst off of hook, we are seeing Blood Rush get popped there. And he gets hit through the pallet. Remember, ping matchup. This was a Spurt Burst to Blood Rush build, and a little too greedy for your own good there, Tap. That is going to be a hit through the pallet. And right now, I think our survivors should just try and get down to maybe a 4K2 before this game is all said and done. If Uncle Grandpa goes straight to this generator, oh, it could be a 4K4. Oh, no. I would expect them to pop this gen if Uncle Grandpa checked another generator first, and then if they play perfect, they can maybe get down to a 4K2, but not only did Uncle Grandpa go to the correct generator, but they did not pre-run it properly, and Chris gets sniped, so this might be a 4K4 result, unless Uncle Grandpa makes some kind of big mistake here. I don't think the Unbreakable Survivor is on the ground. I'm pretty sure that was our tap player who's on hook right now, so I never in my life thought I would see a 4K4 on Badham, but that might be what we're witnessing here. V running for her life here. Let's see the survivor side of this chase. I don't think there's any world she makes this unhook. She's just playing 50s and she's just going to die. Yeah, she's dead. Was it Unbreakable? Yeah, our Unbreakable Survivor was tap. He is Deliverance with the Unbreakable, so he does down hook. That is a huge result for Tamashi on the killer side. That is a 4K4. That means, in simple terms, all Tamashi will have to do in a minute when the sides switch over to win, they'll just have to pop 2 generators. They could all die as long as they pop 2 or more generators. They should have enough points to take this set as well. Fantastic result from Uncle Grandpa. I do think the survivors of Eventide here needed to prioritize that unhook on Furious when Uncle Grandpa strayed away from the hook, and I think that mistake really end up coming back and biting them. So that is a 4K4. Very well played Uncle Grandpa as well. Of course, he did go around the map applying the pressure, making this situation happen. So credit where it's due. Very, very nice Hillbilly gameplay here. But wow, very, very tough result for our killer on Eventide, who will have to play Hillbilly in a moment. They will have to get a 4K4 to tie or a 4K5 to win. So, I hope they're locked in for Eventide's sake. But stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. We're going to switch those lobbies one more time, and we'll have the last trial of this matchup. Be right back. One moment. That's a yikes. Hello everybody and welcome back to the last trial of this Eventide versus Tamashi matchup. We are here with Eventide on the killer for the final time versus Tamashi survivors. Last trial, we did see Uncle Grandpa playing for Tamashi here, getting a 4K4. So Goodall's here playing Hillbilly for Eventide. Needs to get a 4K5. They need a 4K, kill all these survivors before a single generator pops if they want to get this win. If they get a 4K4, that would be a tie, of course, but it feels like seemingly impossible win condition here. It's a very, very difficult spot to be in, and I feel like we have to see stuff exactly like that. You just go for things and hope they land. You can't really get a 4K4 or 4K5 to get a tie or a win here without being very ambitious, going for things that might not work, but you just have to go for it anyway, because if you play safe and collected, there isn't really much of a chance you have to meet a win condition like this. And right now we are seeing the first totem and second totem are gone, so I believe that is going to be crowd control and throw of the hunt gone. We still have a ruin up, and that is a perk from the Krasu if I'm not mistaken. Oh gosh, is that the one that makes you undetectable whenever they work the curse generator? Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm not a DVD encyclopedia anymore. I do not remember exactly what this perk does. I might have to read up on that during this first chase. But David here doing a good job dropping the god pallet in the main building and holding his distance pretty well. We do have these hallways which are pretty awkward. This is why this map is so bad for Hillbilly sometimes. These buildings with their narrow hallways can be so difficult. And Goodall's actually going to leave this chase here and try and pressure somebody off a generator, and they are undetectable. Okay, I actually wasn't completely wrong, but that is going to be a perk that lets you be undetectable whenever they work a certain generator. I believe I thought this one was tied to a hex as well, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that. But Russ going down, very good curve by Goodall's here, and that is going to be the first down of the game. In the distance, we do see Jill's generator about 90%. This is almost definitely going to pop, surely. We are going to see the first generator done, and this will be the tie condition met already for the survivors. One more generator done, that will be enough points for Tamashi to take this win. And right now, okay, so I was right. This perk, after doing a little bit of digging, this is a hex totem that curses the furthest generator from the totem location and makes you undetectable in the survivors repair it. So I wasn't too far off. That is what the hex totem is. We are seeing another full hex build, just like last game with our Tamashi killer. Goodall's is running a full hex build now, but spicing it up a little bit. Instead of Devour Hope, we have an undetectable perk. Might catch some survivors off guard, and I do kind of like this with this kind of build. An undetectable Billy might not seem like it can do a lot because of all the sound with the chainsaw, but sometimes all you need is somebody to hesitate just a little bit to make something happen. And right now we haven't really seen a lot of value yet, and they're basically only using one perk. Goodall's here is just a one perk Andy. We are undetectable yet again because they repaired the curse generator, and right now you have to find the generator's high progress, and this is not the one. Jonah is actually going to pop his generator, and that should be the win condition for Tamashi. They have popped more generators than Eventide did last match, and I believe that will pretty much spell the end of the matchup. But we are going to play this out. Of course, there is going to be the rest of this trial where I would hope Goodall's here tries to at least do what they can. I mean, a 4K4 or 4K5 is so silly to play for. I don't really think they were expecting to do anything crazy like this, but you know, I'd still feel good if I can get a 4K or at least high stages here. So same concept as last set, where even if you're not winning the spirit set for your team, you can still try and walk away from it with at least a decent result here. And we are seeing the second hook stage come in onto Russ, and I mean, if Goodall's can get this tunnel out, if they make a mistake, like unhook the survivor quickly and then Billy goes back to hook and just kills them, we could see still high stages come out. But Goodall's actually choosing to not go back to hook. We're going to commit to Jonah here and maybe just go for some fresh hooks. Not exactly sure what the plan in their head is, but you know, it doesn't really matter. The win condition is already too far gone. It's impossible to meet it. And right now, I mean, maybe we'll just see some spicy plays. I am noticing that Goodall's is just going for more ambitious curves now that it's pretty much all said and done. So, you know, make my casting entertaining. You know, hit some nice curves around these trucks maybe. But Tamashi, I do want to just give them the credit where it's due. They are playing pretty clean all around on the Survivor side. I know this trial is maybe a little bit of a different scenario because their win condition was so relaxed, to say the least. I do still think they are not playing this too aggressively or too passively. They're just going at a nice, safe pace to meet this win condition. And last match with the Spirit trial, they did such a good job at dying in the right spots and denying the Spirit a hook in the 3-gen and denying a fresh hook at the end. Doing very, very good job on the Survivor macro. So, well played to Tamashi here. They will be taking this matchup, and I think Team Tamashi will just have to let this Mohawk David die on hook. It's a very, very sad tragedy, but we might just have to let this one go. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. We do have our Deliverance player. Oh gosh, with Sprint Burst, they are going to get this pool. Diabolus does get there. Sorry, Diabolus? No, Russ does get this. I'm sorry. I see two names in it, but we do have David getting chased yet again. And I mean, honestly, if Ace gets hooked, it's not really a big deal. Uh-oh, no DS in the end game, David. I'm sorry. If Ace gets hooked, it's not a big deal. It's only worth one more hook stage. Plot Twist does come in on to our Jonah player here, I believe. And Goodall's just face camping David to death. I mean, you know, can you blame him? What can you do here? You just gotta confirm your kill. You know, if all the survivors have bet their win condition already, you just need to get your kill in the end. You know, I respect it. Just rev your chainsaw. David's going to die eventually. But are they going to go for another altruistic play here? We do have a Survivor plot twist. And remember, this Survivor will have Sprint Burst for 5 seconds. They'll have 50% Ace for 5 seconds when they pick themselves up off the ground. Russ, or Ace player here, I'm sorry. Maybe I should inform myself with this roster a little bit better before the matchup. But Ace here does have his Sprint Burst fully ready to go. Not 99 anymore. It's just up. And he is going to be running in. The Survivors are trying to pull this. I don't know why, but they're trying to pull this. They're trying to make this endgame interesting. Jill does get the unhook here, but if Jill gets back rev, this is more stages. David does take the hit there, but Jill is a little bit stuck in the House of Pain here. And Goodals knows that they're going to be chasing Jill down, and a little risky taking that vault. She tried to go in the corner. What am I watching? What clown fiesta am I watching? Tamashi, you know, I guess when you've already won, if you can go for some silly plays to try and get everybody out, why not? You know, they're having a good time. Jill, unfortunately, not able to avoid that chainsaw. And Goodall's here, able to hook right in front of this gate. Jill was not even wiggling there, giving Goodall's liberty to hook wherever they want to. And we're seeing it yet again, the chainsaw face camp. And I think Tamashi finally learned their lesson. They are going to leave the Survivor on hook against the instant down killer, as you should be doing. It took long enough. But well played to Tamashi. I do want to give Eventide credit as well. I do think in the Spirit game, that genuinely could have gone either way. I think a little bit, a small mistake on the killer side that was punished very heavily by the survivors resulted in that win. But either way, Eventide doing a good job at staying in the game and making sure that they still put up a fight, even if the win condition may not seem achievable. So credit where it's due. Well played to both of these teams. Tamashi will be taking this matchup 2-0, and we will be taking a short break and coming back in a few minutes for our next matchup, which is Unholy versus Raven X, and the stream will not be restarted. We will keep the broadcast going, so stay tuned for that. We'll be back in a few minutes with Unholy versus Raven X with some Oni and Hillbilly yet again. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back for our next matchup.